The rain was a steady, rhythmic drumming against the roof of the small coastal cabin. The kind of sound that usually made the world feel small and safe. But tonight, the television in the corner was flickering with images of a stadium in chaos. Julian Thorne, the man whose face was plastered on every billboard from Tokyo to New York, had walked off stage mid-performance in London. The news anchors were calling it a breakdown, a mystery, a disappearance. You turn the volume down, the silence of the room returning as you stared at the dark woods outside your window. To the world, he was a god of melody in sold-out arenas. To you, he was just the boy who used to share his headphones with you on the back of the school bus. Long before he had a stage name. A sharp, heavy knock at the door made your heart jump. When you pulled it open, the cold wind swept in, carrying the scent of pine and wet pavement. Standing there, drenched to the bone and shivering, was Julian. He wasn't wearing the leather jacket from the tour posters, or the designer watch he was paid millions to endorse. He was in a plain-soaked hoodie, his hair plastered to his forehead. The trackers are in the trash can at the airport. He said, his voice raspy, barely audible over the wind. My phone is at the bottom of the Thames. My manager thinks I'm in a hospital in Kensington. You stood frozen, the contrast between the chaos on the screen behind you and the desperate man in front of you, making the air feel thin. Julian, what are you doing here? You have 40,000 people waiting for an encore. He stepped across the threshold, not waiting for an invitation behind him. The sudden quiet of the cabin seemed to hit him like a physical weight. He leaned his back against the wood, closing his eyes as a long, shaky breath escaped him. I didn't want 40,000 people, he whispered. I realized halfway through that I was singing every word to a room full of strangers, hoping that if I sang loud enough, you'd hear me all the way out here. It was a lie, all of it. He opened his eyes, and for the first time in years, you didn't see the polished glare of a superstar. You saw the exhaustion, the hollow ache of someone who had been running for so long he'd forgotten how to stand still. They see the platinum records, he said, stepping closer, his boots leaving wet prints on your rug. They see the icon. But you're the only person left who remembers the person who wrote the songs in the first place. I don't want the world tour, I want a Tuesday morning where nobody knows my name. I wanna sit on this porch and watch the fog roll in and not have to be anyone but Julian. He reached out, his hand hovering near yours, hesitant, as if he were afraid he was a ghost that might pass right through you. I gave it all up tonight, he said. The contracts, the fame, the fortune. I walked out the back door and didn't look back. I'm off the grid and I'm never going back to that life. Not if there's a chance I can stay here. The world was currently tearing itself apart, trying to find him. But in the dim light of the cabin, the noise had finally stopped. He wasn't a headline anymore. He was just a man who had traveled 3,000 miles to find the only person who knew how he took his coffee and knew how he took his coffee and why he was afraid of the dark. Tell me to leave, he breathed, his eyes searching yours with a terrifying vulnerability. Tell me I'm crazy for throwing it all away, and I'll walk back into the rain. But if you tell me to stay, I'm yours. No cameras, no scripts, just us.